For decades, we've all kind of operated on a certain set of assumptions, a global playbook, if you will. But what happens when that playbook gets completely ripped up? We're about to dive into a really powerful and honestly a pretty unsettling idea from Mark Carney that what we're living through isn't just a phase, it's a permanent rupture in the global order. And as we're about to see, looking back, well, that's just not an option. So, to really get a grip on what's happening, we have to start with this story about a greengrocer in old communist Czechoslovakia. The writer Václav Havel used this powerful image to explain how a broken system can keep going. See, the greengrocer puts up this slogan he knows is totally meaningless. He's not a true believer. He's just trying to avoid trouble, to signal he's playing the game. And since everyone is doing the same thing, the illusion holds. And that, right there, turns out to be a perfect metaphor for how the whole international system has been working. So what was that sign in the greengrocer's window? Well, you could say it was the rules-based international order itself. For decades, a lot of countries, especially middle powers, played this game. We all joined the institutions, we praised the principles, and we definitely benefited from the stability it seemed to offer. We all put the sign in the window. And look, this slide just nails the gap between the rhetoric and the reality. I mean, let's be honest. We all kind of knew this was a bit of a fiction, didn't we? We knew the biggest, strongest nations often played by their own set of rules. We knew that fair trade didn't always feel so fair to everyone, and that international law could be, let's just say, applied flexibly. But we all went along with it, because that story, that useful fiction, it gave us a sense of stability. Okay, so that old bargain, that useful story we all told ourselves, it's done. It's over. The entire foundation has just cracked apart. And here is the absolute key takeaway. This isn't just some passing phase. It's not a transition. Think about it. A transition is smooth. You're moving from one stable point to another. A rupture? That's a violent break. It shatters. The old system is broken, and it's not coming back. The fundamental logic of how countries deal with each other has changed for good. And this is the crazy part. This slide shows how it all fell apart. The very things that were supposed to bring us all closer together, global trade, financial systems, the supply chains that get you your phone, yeah, those are now being used as weapons. The great powers are now exploiting all this interconnectedness to force other countries to do what they want. You just can't pretend you're in a partnership when the system itself is being used against you. So, if the old system of rules and cooperation is gone, what comes next? Well, the immediate and, frankly, very dangerous alternative is what you might call the fortress world. And honestly, the logic here makes a ton of sense, right? If you're a country and you can't be sure you can feed your people, or fuel your economy, or defend your borders, and the old rules won't protect you, what choice do you have? Your only option is to become more self-sufficient, to build up your own strength in everything from energy and food to critical minerals. Okay, but let's just stop for a second and really think about this. What does a world where every nation just retreats behind its own high walls actually look like? What are the real costs when everyone is just looking out for number one? Yeah, the picture it paints is not pretty. It's a poorer world, for sure. Because when trade dries up, everything gets more expensive. It's a more fragile world, because a crisis in one place can't be solved by global cooperation. But the most important shift is this. Your sovereignty, your independence, isn't guaranteed by some international law anymore. Nope. It's all about how much pressure you can take. It becomes a world where might literally makes right. Okay, so that's a pretty bleak picture. Is that it? Are we just stuck? Well, maybe not. There might be a new playbook, one specifically designed for middle powers like Canada to find their way in this messy new world. This new approach is called value-based realism. And what does that mean? Well, it means you're not a naive idealist, but you're not a total cynic either. It's about being clear-eyed, seeing the world for what it is, a tough game of power politics, but without giving up on your core values, like sovereignty and human rights. It's pragmatic action grounded in what you believe in. So what does that actually look like? Well, it's kind of like a three-step plan. Step one, you've got to build strength at home. You can't be independent on the world stage if you're not strong domestically. Step two, you have to diversify abroad and fast. You can't be dependent on any single country. And step three is where it gets really smart. You pursue something called variable geometry. It's a fancy term, but the idea is simple. Instead of joining one big, permanent club, you create flexible teams with different partners to tackle different problems. It's all about being nimble. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just a playbook for one country. It's a strategy for all the countries out there caught in the middle of these great power rivalries. And this next line, it just says it all, doesn't it? If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. For middle powers, sitting on the sidelines just isn't an option anymore. In a world of giants, if you don't act, you will be acted upon. I mean, the stakes couldn't be higher. Just look at the choice here on this slide. It's crystal clear. If you try to go it alone, you're weak. You're basically fighting with other countries like you for whatever scraps the big guys throw your way. But if you work together, wow, suddenly you're not just a taker. You can actually create a third path, combine your strengths, and have a real say in protecting your own sovereignty. And that brings us right back where we started, back to that greengrocer and his sign. The very first step to building this new future is to finally do the one thing he was afraid to do, to stop pretending and to just take the sign down. So, what does it mean to live the truth in this new world? Well, first, you gotta call it like you see it. Acknowledge the great power rivalry. Stop pretending the old rules-based order is still a thing. It means you have to act consistently. You can't condemn something from your rivals but ignore it from your friends. It means you have to go out and build new alliances that actually work. And maybe most importantly, you have to reduce the ways other countries can have leverage over you. And here it is, the final blunt truth. We can't wish ourselves back to the world of the 1990s. That world is gone. And looking backward isn't just pointless, it's actually dangerous because it stops us from dealing with the world as it is today. So that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? We know the old order has ruptured. We see the very real danger of every country just walling itself off. So, in a world dominated by giants, is there enough collective will among all those middle powers to finally stop pretending, to take down that old, faded sign and actually build something new and stronger in its place?